What's up, guys? So I'm just down at Discount Tire getting my tires rotated. Have some time to kill. I wanted to do this quick Facebook Live video to talk about, to answer the question, when is it wise to wait to buy a home, and when is it more advantageous and smarter to buy a home now? So that's kind of what I'm going to go over today, and I'm waiting for a couple of you guys to join. So the reason that this got brought up today is I have some clients, and they're thinking, well, maybe we should wait until spring. The reasoning for that, the reason they're saying, hey, let's wait until spring, is because they know it's a hot seller's market in Salt Lake City. And it is. It's crazy hot. It's very difficult for buyers. But they're wanting to find a deal, and they think that by waiting until spring, they'll be able to do that. Here's a few things to consider. So first off, when is it wise to wait to buy a home? So I'm not one of those realtors that'll tell you it's always wise to buy a home. You should always buy a home. It makes sense for everyone all the time. No, that's a bunch of crap. But I'm going to be fair and honest with you today, and I hope I have permission to do that. So when should you wait to buy a home, or when should you not even consider it? Well, first off, if you can't afford it. I know this is common sense to most of us, but you'd be surprised how many people, because of peer pressure and what they see on TV, they think that they need to buy a home just to kind of keep up with the Joneses, if you will, and they get themselves into some serious crap, some serious financial trouble because they buy a home too soon, and they're not, they're just not. Sorry, I have this weird bug over here. I have my tripod hooked up to a tree. I don't know if you can see this. There's the tree branch. So I have my tripod on a tree here in the back of Discount Tire. So, sorry, the production value kind of sucks. Anyways, you'd be surprised how many people, they try to force it. They try to buy a house before they're ready. So if you cannot afford it, do not buy a home. It will be a curse, not a blessing. Now, along that same lines, maybe you can afford it, but maybe your job isn't that stable. You're not so sure about your income. That really fluctuates all over the place. Maybe you're in sales, like a real estate agent, and your income is not regular. You can't depend on those checks every 2 weeks that are, your income is irregular. So if that happens, maybe it's not a wise time to buy a house. Maybe you should save up a bunch of money first. Maybe put aside 3 to 6 months of mortgage payments before you do buy a home, just so you don't get yourself into hot water if you have a bad month or an off month. And sales, a lot of sales is seasonal, and so that can happen. Now, I wrote some notes that are hanging up on the tree here. Now, if you're going to be leaving town, you may not want to buy a home if you're renting right now, but you think maybe in the next year or so you're going to be leaving town. If you're going to be leaving, maybe you just continue renting until you do move out of the area. Now, I'll mention this though, to be fair. If you buy a house now and home prices continue to go up, you're going to be in a good spot. You're going to have some, you're going to have some good equity there, but also you can rent it. So if you end up moving a year after you buy the house or 6 months after you buy the house, you could always rent it. And here's what I'm going to get to. I'm going to transition into why it probably makes sense to buy a home now, assuming you can afford it and have steady income and reliable income. So what a house rents for and what the mortgage payment is, there's a huge gap right now in Salt Lake City. And I know that that's the case around the country in a bunch of different spots. Hang on, let's see here. So depending on where you're at, that may not be the case. For example, my home, our mortgage payment is about $1,250 a month. Okay, that same house could rent for about $1,550. So it's actually saving us $300 a month to own the home versus renting the exact same home in the exact same neighborhood. I'm seeing that all around the Salt Lake area, and I know that that's happening all across the country. So you may want to consider, if you're renting, would your mortgage payment be less on the exact same home? Usually that's the case. So that's amazing. If you could save a few $100s a month, even if it's $100 a month that you're saving, that $100 you can go into your savings account. You could go out to dinner a couple times more each month, whatever. But the way that it's working out in Salt Lake County right now is when you compare apples to apples, the exact same home in the same area, the mortgage payment will be less than what that house rents for. So by owning my home, I'm saving $300 a month versus renting the same home in the same area. Also, if you wait, these particular clients, they wanted to wait until spring thinking that it would not be a seller's market anymore. Maybe that's the case. But all the trends in Salt Lake County right now, and in Utah in general, it does not look like the market is going to be heading down anytime soon. Maybe it cools off a little bit through fall and winter, but going down and becoming a buyer's market between now and spring, I can't see that happening. And if that happens, something crazy and big happened with the economy, and that's a problem for everybody. So chances are, whether it's buying a house now or in the next month or so, or waiting until springtime, let's say 6 months from now, people are making decisions based off what home prices are today and what interest rates are today. Well, I'm sorry, but 6 months from now, home prices are not going to be the same. They're either going to be higher or lower than what they are now. And interest rates are not going to be the same as they are today. They're either going to be higher or lower. What do all the experts think? What do I think? I think home prices will continue to go up and up and up. Maybe not as fast, probably not as fast throughout the fall and winter, but home prices are going to keep going up. And so in spring, a house that may cost $250 today, maybe it costs $270, $275 in the springtime. And so you may not even qualify for that home anymore just because you waited. And that's assuming your interest rate and everything else stays the same. Now, if Salt Lake County, home prices have gone up almost 10% in the last 3 months. 10%. That's crazy. So a $200,000 home went up to $220. Like $219, $218, something like that, in just 3 months. So I don't think that kind of crazy growth is going to continue, but some growth will. If you can buy a house now for $250 or buy it 6 months from now for $275, and you're going to buy it anyways, why would you wait until spring to do that? Also, interest rates. A lot of the experts in the real estate industry think that that interest rates are going to be going up. They will eventually. I have no idea when. I personally am not even going to, I don't know when interest rates are going up, but they have to go up because they're so freaking low. So a lot of the experts think that by the end of this year, interest rates will see a jump. If that happens, now your purchasing power has been diminished. So if you have home prices creeping up and your interest rate creeps up, now the home is less affordable, and now you can qualify for less mortgage. So you could be putting yourself in a position just by waiting 6 months to where a home that you could buy today and qualify for today and be satisfied with the interest rate today, you may not even qualify for that home 6 months from now. Maybe you do. I don't know. It's a crapshoot, but I'm just telling you that's the way that the market is trending in Salt Lake City and in many parts of the country. Prices going up. Interest rates will probably go up as well. You may find yourself priced out and underqualified for the house that you could buy today just by waiting. So there's some things to juggle. You don't want to rush into buying a house. You don't want to buy a house if you're stretching it financially, if maybe you can't afford it, or it would make your bills really, really tight. You don't want to do that just because prices are going up and interest rates will probably go up. But if you're in a spot where it makes sense and you're renting and your rent's $1,500 a month, let's go buy a house and get your mortgage payment down to $1,200. You'll save $300 a month. You'll have the mortgage interest tax deduction, so you can deduct all the interest that you're paying on your mortgage. So that's a big savings right there on your taxes. There's all the benefits of home ownership. If prices keep going up, you're going to hang on to that equity, and you're going to be able to benefit from the appreciation of the home, which is absolutely awesome. For example, I have a rental property in Taylorsville. I think we bought it in 2011, and we were going to flip it, but we had some things come up that cost too much to renovate, so we ended up having to rent it. Well, that's working out well for us. We ended up renting it for a fair amount each month, or we're cash flowing a fair amount each month, And we were only focused on that monthly cash flow, and we were totally satisfied. Well, about 6 months ago, I ran some comparables on that house and found out we have about 80 grand in equity all of a sudden. Because we were approaching it as a rental property, we weren't even thinking about the appreciation. That was just like an added benefit. But boom, all of a sudden we're making great cash flow and we have this big chunk of equity. That's what can happen if you buy a house and then wait as prices go up over the years. So figure out what's best for you in your financial situation. If you need some advice, if you need some pointers, if you need some guidance based on experience from someone who's in the real estate market, definitely reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help. It doesn't matter if you're in Salt Lake or not. You could be in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and I'd be more than willing to help you. Although I'll probably call in my buddy Neil Mathweg in Madison, Wisconsin to help you out. He's the guy to go to if you're in Fond du Lac. So anyways, I'm here to help answer any questions you have. But just make sure that if you're thinking of waiting to buy a home, figure out why it is that you're waiting. If you think you're going to get a better deal, you're rolling the dice and you're probably going to lose. If it's because you can't afford it, your money's tight, that's a good reason to wait. But, hopefully that helps some of you guys. Reach out to me if you have any questions or need any guidance, anything like that. Hopefully you enjoyed my little Facebook Live video from the back near the dumpsters of Discount Tire in West Jordan. What an awesome backdrop, right? How rustic. So, all right, guys, enjoy your Wednesday. It's only like 80 degrees in Salt Lake or 70-something degrees in Salt Lake. It's absolutely amazing. So go outside and play. Have fun.